If you guys recall, you're not allowed to have an imaginary in your denominator. You got to get rid of that I. Okay, how do we get rid of it, right? Which is terrible math. You're going to turn it into a real number by producing an I squared, because I squared is equal to -1. So you're going to use that I squared substitution of -1 to your advantage. Whatever this denominator is, you multiply by exactly that one term, top and bottom. Okay. So what do you get on the top? Well, this is two terms. This is a real number. This is an imaginary number. So I'm going to have to distribute. I'm going to multiply it times the -5, and I'll get an imaginary part. And then my -10i times this imaginary, and this is where I'm going to get an I squared. Okay, so here's what I get. -10, -5 is positive 50i. Right? Okay, -10 times, right, this is a -1, is positive 10, and then I times I is I squared. And then I'm going to go to the denominator. Change your mind? Open the door and look. Okay, now your denominator. What is -10 times -10? 100, positive, right? And then what's I times I? I squared. Okay, this I squared is not acceptable as your final answer. You want to turn that into a real number, -1. So, since you know I squared can be substituted as -1, multiply it . Hold on, I'm recording. Hold on. -1 times 10, and then I'm going to go -1 times 100. Okay? So, I replace the I squared with the -1 because of this. And so now I'm going to multiply. Now, 10 times -1 is -10 plus 50i. I switch the positions because remember, a complex number is a plus bi form. A is the real number, imaginary comes second. So -10 plus 50i. And now what's 100 times -1? -100. Okay, now this answer is not like perfect, beautiful, ideal, but I cannot judge you because you did in fact FOIL. You completed your I squared substitution to -1. This is a good place to like be satisfied with yourself. Are you going to the office? Yeah, go. Yeah, sorry for making you wait. Okay, now, but I wanted imperfect A plus BI form. Real number part, imaginary number part. Okay, if you want to continue, I'm going to continue. So you could just take a look at it, and I'm going to use the calculator. This is a denominator for this real and this imaginary. If I decide to split into two separate terms, what is it, plus 50? I can then take a calculator and transfer these to decimals. And so, -10 over 100, you guys should know what that is though. Oh, you can't see, is -1/10 or -0.1, right? Okay, so -1/10, and then what's 50? Whoops. Divided by -100, -1/2, or SD, -0.5, right? And so this is perfect A plus BI form, where -1/10 is my real number, -1/2 is my imaginary. you're like, what? Hold on, let's pause. All right, it's going to disappear, remember